Well, down, 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 down. Mm, mm, mm. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing tonight? Hopefully, you are good and blessed. I go by the name of DJ Sama. Shouts going out to Tropical Greens, B-Boy Corona, Caden. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Tonight is going to be, as always, informational, and just trying to spread, some information your way. We got a lot going on here at USA Breakin, and we are just humbled to be a part of the Breakin community. And all is good, man. I just got back from Mexico, had a great time. Shouts out to Cozumel, Cancun, Mexico. I love going there, man. What's there not to love? The sun, the beaches. It's beautiful out there. Shouts going out to Big Wino. So, one of the bigger events that I want to start off just mentioning is the ProAm Dance and DJ Expo. That's going down right here in the 305, June 10th through the 12th, over at the MAC, which is the Miami Airport Convention Center. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary, so a lot of surprises coming your way with the Pro-Am. Make sure to go on ProAmExpo.com and get your tickets early. We're going to have B-boys and B-girls from all over the U.S. and abroad be a part of the competitions, the panels, the workshops. We're going to have also TikTok dancers. We're going to have dance schools. I mean, we're inviting all styles to come on down and be a part of the fiasco. It's going to be nothing but a good time. Let me see if I could get my boy Jonathan to pop in here. I'm always looking. Do it the right way. I think did I pop him in here? Jonathan, hold on. There you go. You should be coming. There he is. Whoa, you scared me, bro.
What's going on, Sam?
Bro, man. Let me tell you. Let me ask you. Have you ever had chicharro?
If I ever had what?
Chicharro.
Yes.
You've had chicharro before?
It's been a while. It's pork though, right?
No, it's not pork.
Chicharron.
It's sweet pea soup, but made Cuban style, like a puree. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a bean type of flavor.
Well, we need to go get some then.
Bro, let me tell you, I just finished having some Mama Sama chicharro with some rice and picadillo. Woo! It's a problem.
So April 9th at the Jam, I'm expecting you to bring in, for the crew.
I'm gonna bring you some chicharro. Trust me, after you have it, you're gonna be like, "Where does your mom live again?"
Exactly.
How you
Be
been,
hanging
bro?
out with her. I'm good. I'm good. Yourself?
I can't complain, man. Life is good. I was just telling everybody that I just got back from my trip to Mexico. Me and my wife did that destination wedding.
Congratulations.
We had an amazing time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always fun in Mexico. It really is. But
Definitely.
tell everybody, you're the development director at USA Breakin. But before that, you've been in the scene for a very, very long time. So just give them a little synopsis of how you started in this beautiful thing that we call the world of breaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I got into breaking. Well, right now I'm 42 right now, so I got into breaking and DJing and graph and the whole thing basically early mid 90s. I started doing my own events mid to late 90s, and 97 I actually happened to just go to the first Pro-Am as a spectator. And 98 I ended up linking up with Speedy Legs. I actually booked him and Grams to come perform at one of my events. He liked what he saw. He asked me to come partner up with him with hip hop elements, and we worked together since then. So it's going on close to 25 years now. I've helped him kind of been behind the scenes a lot of time with the Pro-Am over the years. Did a lot of development. I built one of the first breaking websites in the world in 1999. We put up hiphopelements.com, and I handled a lot of the design, the proposals, a lot of sponsorship negotiations, hosted a lot of the events, hosted DJ battles, DMC battles, and all that kind of stuff over the years. So the last couple of years, I've been focusing more on the medicine stuff. I got back into martial arts around 04, 05 after a lifetime of that as a kid, and had a couple of kids the last couple of years. And then when you guys all got into USA Breakin, initially I offered my expertise on the medical side, And because of my experience, I think they had asked me to come in as development director, and I couldn't say no. I think it's just a very exciting time with
Yeah.
everything that's moving. I mean, the dance has been building, 30, 40 years now, and I've been involved the last 25 years, and now just it's catapulting, I think, to whole new levels, and a lot of that the old is kind of going out the window, and it's a whole new level, I think, of professionalism that's coming in as far as dancers and organizers and promoters, everything from the Olympics to new corporate opportunities to national tour. So it's really an honor to be involved. And what's exciting for me is there has never been this kind of unity in the scene before. I mean, everybody was friendly to some extent, and everybody, promoters would support each other's events to some extent, as long as they didn't have any beef over whatever. But now that what we're doing with USA Breakin, I've never seen so many promoters from across the country working together, and people being so open and willing to participate. Where before, like, we would help every now and then, and like I said, we'd show up to people's events and things like that. But this is a whole another level, and this is what partially the scene was missing, and this is why we probably lost out on a lot of opportunities in the past, or corporations and these things kind of were able to take advantage in the past. So now being able to build this national breaking league, basically, and make it a sporting organization, it's never been done before. So I'm really happy to be on board, and
Yeah, man.
it's great to have you as a president. I grew up listening to you on the radio when I was still in high school. You were one of the radio jocks that I used to listen to. So it's super cool that you're the president of the of USA Breakin, and you're an old school b-boy too. And
Yep.
throughout all the years too, you always supported everything that Speedy Legs was doing with the ProAm and myself, and brought us into other gigs. So it's nice to see it come full circle, and I'm super excited about the future.
Yeah, man. We're happy to have you as part of the board. You're very knowledgeable. And the thing is that you have a passion for it. Nobody's pulling your arm to be the sport, the development director. You're wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's something inside of you that says, wow, this is going to be great. I want to be a part of this movement. And that's what makes it all exciting. Like they say, you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's the way I feel about it. I do in the world of breaking.
Exactly. I mean, it's all volunteer, and even over the years, I think if this was I always had a side hustle. I always had other companies and other gigs, but it was really more of a passion project for me. I think from the first time I saw Breakin', it was just, it's probably the most athletic, most dynamic sport and dance in the world. I don't think that anything really compares. I mean, there are a lot of very cool sports, but and to not need any tools or equipment or anything really, just music. That's
Yeah.
and to some extent you don't even need that anymore, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
one thing that gets me excited, man, is when I look at breaking and the state that it's in right now, being able to create opportunity for
mhm.
kids that love sport, that love the art form, being able to, position some things where they can take advantage of that and actually get a paycheck and do what they love. That excites me. You know what I mean? I really look forward to doing those type of things. And I'm not just saying that to say it. I'm saying it because I mean it. I really think that, because of my DJ background, my radio background, my production background, my event background, I could definitely do some things within the breaking world that can make a difference, for a lot of people's lives. And I think a lot of us can do that collectively. And that's, some of the things that we want to work towards is helping the future to grow the right way and not have to have that part-time job. Maybe do this full-time and not have to worry about doing a side hustle like we had to do a lot of the times when we were growing up.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it is about the next generation now. I think we're all at that age, and you're a couple years older than me, right? Where we're looking at legacy and what's going to be left behind, and what's going to be better, and hopefully the next generation won't have some of these struggles that everybody went through. And even from my generation, and even let's say Speedy's generation, compared to the generation before and what they went through, in the Bronx in the '70s and all that, it's been progressively getting better, and hopefully now the whole media thing won't be a fad again like it was in the '80s, or where they come and go and kind of take advantage, and hey, you do a couple shows and then the corporate kind of kicks you to the can.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of opportunities, and that was one thing that we were always big on doing with ProAm. We always had panels how to get sponsors, how to do events, how to make opportunities.
Yeah, education, which is
Exactly.
when you're trying to uplift and help somebody that may not know the path. Let's talk a little bit about the evolution of rehab. Because I remember growing up as a b-boy, when I was taught a certain move where there's a windmill or a backspin, man, I used to bang myself up all the time, and it would take a while. Like when I was trying to do the windmills, and I would get this freaking lump on the side of my hip over here because I kept banging my hip on the floor. And I distinctively still remember that. So I know that now the rehab process and the education that these kids have are far more advanced than what we were taught, or that the practices that we did back in the day. Talk a little bit about that, what you observed, and some of the stuff that you've helped teach these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll backstep a little bit on that real quick because I don't think I really introduced what I'm doing now. So I have a doctorate and a master's in acupuncture and Eastern medicine, bachelor's in health sciences, and that's been something I've been following along the last 18 plus years. I have a full-time integrative medicine clinic up in the Northwest Broward County area. So I deal with a lot of athletes. I've treated NFL players and professional fighters and soccer players, all across all sorts of disciplines and all sorts of sports. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to bringing into this. And traditionally, b-boys a lot of times didn't have insurance, didn't have access to good medical care, things like that. Hopefully, some of that is changing, but there's still a lot of people that don't. So the one thing is I always say is training methods. People are getting better instruction now. They have better mentors probably than they did back then, where before it was maybe like you had to learn on your own, just kind of copying moves and then eventually creating your own moves. And you were practicing out on concrete or cardboard, and it was much easier to get injured, and it was harder to deal with it. The other thing is people are a lot more up to date now on nutritional science and dietetics and things like that. So that was a big part of it. If you were living on a fast food diet, and if you're chronically dehydrated or something like that, and you're wearing down the cartilage in your joints, it's gonna wear down quick, and you're not gonna recover, and you're gonna be in a chronic state of inflammation. So anytime you're out there hitting moves, it's just gonna continue to do more and more damage and never repair. As far as the rehab, it varies. There's everything from the rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. And that's changed. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of the science and that kind of stuff has changed over the years too. There's a lot of it is controversial now. People are saying, oh, well, don't do ice or don't do heat or even physical therapy has changed a lot. The physical therapy of 20, 30 years ago is not what physiotherapists and doctors of physical therapy are doing today. So the training methods have repaired. And where it was always like rest, rest, rest. Now we know that's actually not the case. Now, I'm not saying if you're injured, you should go back to doing what got you injured right away, but you do need to find exercises to load the muscles and load the tendons to repair them. Just resting is not going to repair the problem a lot of the time. So, but yes, if you got injured doing a certain move, you shouldn't be out there the next day doing that kind of move.
Yeah, I would.
And it always is best to seek expert care.
I would be like, what kind of doctor are you? Go back out there and bust your ass again.
Right. Well, it's changes as far as like they're not telling people to just sit around and wait for it to get better, because a lot of times if you got an injury, it may have been that maybe you have some kind of dysfunction or disproportion in certain muscles, and you've strengthened other muscles. And if you keep working on only certain muscles, you're strengthening dysfunction instead. And if you have tendonitis or something, or a ligament is sprained or strained or something like that, and you keep working that same thing the way you've been working it, you're just going to end up getting the same results. So that's why it's good to have a professional. And personally myself, and I do this for my therapy, I between the martial arts and other stuff, I've got a lifetime of injuries as well. So I get acupuncture, I get massage, I see a chiropractor, and I see a doctor of physical therapy. And I found that doing all that and having those kind of resources are the best for me personally, and my patients have the best results of that. Also, the nice thing is there's a lot of these physiotherapists now that actually have IG accounts, and they're giving away this stuff for free. So you can go on IG and search physical therapy, knee rehab, or physical therapy for back pain, and there's everything. And it's not always just more stretching, more stretching, more stretching, because overstretching will actually damage ligaments and tendons and joints as well.
Mm.
Sometimes they won't heal if you overstretch them. The ligaments can become too lax, and then they don't go back in place, and you'll have no stability. So, it's best to see a professional, but if you don't have insurance and if you can't afford it, there are resources and you can ask for help. And that's one of the things we're looking to bring in USA Breakin is have medical resources and medical advice for people who need help to at least point them in the right direction. We obviously can't give away medical advice online for free because there's HIPAA concerns and all sorts of other stuff, but
Yeah.
at least to have resources for people of where they should turn to and what their next steps should be.
Even if it's just some tips, anything that'll help, the athlete or the competitive dancer to learn better how to protect their bodies. With that being said, do you feel that meditating will avoid you unnecessary injuries?
That is, so I'm a big fan of meditation, and from the martial arts standpoint, it's a big piece of it, especially from within the Chinese martial arts, and it's considered some of the highest forms. It's like a standing meditation. There's different types of meditation, and will that alone prevent you from having injuries? No, I think proper body mechanics is going to do more for it than meditation. However, I think when you're meditating, and depending on the type of meditating you're doing, if you're internally listening to the body and taking inventory of what's going on in the body, yes, it may help prevent some injuries. And I think meditation will actually help you heal faster. And there is a lot of research on this, and Harvard and MIT and all these big organizations have been doing research on these kind of mind-body therapies and things over the last 20 plus years. And they've shown that meditation can actually activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And what that means is you're turning off the adrenaline, you're turning off the fight versus flight, and you're turning off the cortisol levels, which are adrenaline and cortisol. These are hormones that are causing inflammation in the body. So if you go inside and you're doing your meditation, you're basically going to turn off that hyper inflamed response, and you're going to quiet everything down, which will then allow your body to heal. And the meditation brings out other hormones, endorphins and opioids that your body makes naturally, like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin, which are also painkillers. So there is, I love that you brought that up, because I don't think anybody's really talking about that in the community. I know there's a lot of crossover between some B-boys and martial arts, so some people might have that background, but it is something that should be propelled in the future, and there should be more mind-body focus within the B-boy community, not just for healing purposes, but just for overall mental health and clarity and respect of each other in the community.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I need to meditate more, but meditating does do something. You get a chance to speak to your inner self, you know what I'm saying, and just get in tune with what's going on inside of you. So that can't be a negative. It's got to be a plus. So, depending on what you practice, you have to look into what really fits your fancy, as they would say. But I think it's important, and people need to look into that. How about getting massages on a weekly or bi-weekly? What are your thoughts on massages?
I benefit greatly from massages. Now, just like b-boying or chiropractic, not every massage therapist is the same, right? So you do need to find somebody that knows what they're doing. B-boys there's no question about it, you're elite athletes. So you need someone who kind of focuses or has a little bit of a specialty in sports medicine. Then there's different types of massages. There's medical massage, there's Swedish massage, there's pressure point massages, shiatsu, acupressure, all these types of different things. But I found personally in my own performance and just how I feel overall, it makes a huge difference. However, what I don't like people thinking of is you're always looking for somebody else to fix your problems. And I tell my patients that too, you can come to me and I can help kind of set you on your way. But initially, at the end of the day, you need to learn the right exercises in the right stretches. They're going to rehab you as much as possible, so you don't have to go spend all your money and get a massage every week, because that could get expensive too, right? If you see a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, and massages, and not everybody can afford that. Self-massage is huge. My best friend is, and I got this from my doctor of physical therapy, is a lacrosse ball. It's like a double lacrosse ball that's glued together. And you can take a tennis ball or a racquetball or anything, and just spend time finding trigger points that are really painful and just leave that ball on there. Like sometimes I'll spend an hour, just doing all different parts of my body, and sometimes it's excruciating. And trigger point therapy is you press on that point until the pain dissipates, and usually will. And there's been times where I'm like, I think I'm damaging some internal organs, and my PT assured me like, no, that's exactly what that location should feel like. And if it's too much, you put pressure for 10 seconds, you release. You put pressure for 10 seconds, and that's different from foam rolling or where you're just rolling over the area back and forth. With the lacrosse balls and this kind of thing, you actually want to find a spot and you just stay on that spot. You don't roll around the spot. You stay on there till it leaves. But and what you're doing with the massage and all these things, I mean, you're draining lymphatic fluid, you're increasing circulation, and you're releasing lactic acid that's built up. So all these things are going to cause pain, and they're also going to limit your mobility. So massage is a fantastic therapeutic modality. I'm a big proponent of it. I have a medical massage therapist in my facility that's been teaching massage for 40 plus years in anatomy that comes and works on my
But
patients.
it is important to find the right therapist, because I remember
Definitely.
one time I had a therapist. I think I was in Honduras DJing at a club out there. And then at night, we decided to get massages. And boy, let me tell you, the next day I woke up, I had to basically crawl to the taxi cab. I could not move. I was like, what did this person do to my body? Because I could not move, man. So be careful. Do your research. Don't let just anybody, mess with your body, man, because you could be paying for it the next day. All right, so real quick, let's talk about the events that we got coming up on USA Breakin. The first one is in Miami, April 9th. Really excited about this, man. This is going to be a serious competition happening at Level 2 Nightclub. As I mentioned, April 9th. It's the Road to ProAm. We've got $1,000 in prizes. I'm sorry, in cash, and we're also going to give away some prizes. Can't give out too much, but it's located at 7335 Northwest 36th Street, Miami, Florida. April 9th, USA Breakin coming out party right here in Miami, and the whole crew is going to be out there. We're going to have our board members out there, judges. Wino's going to be emceeing the joint. I'll be, floating around, saying hi to everybody, and just, we're going to have a real good time. A lot of people are going to be in attendance, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's the kickoff launch for the 2022 USA Breakin season. So it should be very interesting here in Miami. We got probably half our board members here in Miami. And as everybody knows, Miami has one of the illest b-boy scenes in the world, just always has and probably always will, as long as we keep doing it. And there's so many dope crews and artists out here. So I think the turnout should be really nice. And it's a beautiful time of the year out here. It's before it gets too hot. So, it's spring break right now, and we're pretty hyped. I got the weekend off. We'll bring the family out there. Looking forward to seeing everybody. I hope you all can make it. So that's April 9th at Level 2 Nightclub.
The top 16 performing live. It's going to be a hell of a throwdown. Looking forward to it. The music's going to be on point. We know we got Chief on the ones and twos.
Chief in the battle.
The kid is incredible on the ones and twos, man. So I'm looking forward to this is going to be my first time seeing him live in action, throwing it down for the B-boys and the B girls.
He's working with us on some of the USA Breakin soundtrack, right? Some of the battle music, mixtapes.
We got a mixtape coming out. And, it's incredible. Sometimes I'm watching these IG videos of different breakers, and they're dancing to everything. You know what I'm saying? Trap, they're dancing to break beats, they're dancing to house, hip-hop, old school, new school. It's all, in your personality and what you feel you want to vibe with.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, and I love the progression of the music. There's always been a wide variety of breaks. Even if you go back to the 70s, there were no hip-hop records, right? So it was funk and soul and disco breaks and rock music that they were just playing the breaks. And then, later on, there was, people were dancing to freestyle and electro-funk stuff like Planet Rock and all that kind of stuff and the hip-hop. And now, you're right, there's trap. And, I can't even keep up with all the different genres of music right now. And it's nice to see how creative people are. And that's one of the things I always liked about the B-boy community. I think it's a little different during a battle. People expect a certain style of breakbeat or something, a beat that they could kind of break down to. But that was one of my favorite things about DJing jams was you can break new music and you could explore and you could kind of play around. and throw records on, where it was a little different than maybe the club or the radio, where you kind of had a format you had to follow. Like if you throw on, the most abstract beat, like there's gonna be a couple people in there that are feeling it, and they're gonna dance to it, and it's not gonna like clear the dance floor like it might at a if you're DJing a bar mitzvah or a wedding or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, when I used to do throwdowns back in the day, like depending on if I was doing a house party or if I was doing
Mm-hmm.
like a breaking party. Because with a breaking party, my playlist would look different. Like one of the jams that I would love to rock is this joint right here. Like if I needed everybody on the floor to really rock out, or if it was like the highlight of the battle, Jimmy Castor had to be there.
Yeah, once you hear that horn, it's on.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's highlight climax throwdown time. And that's the vibe. So, no matter, what age you're at, you know what I'm saying? Those are certain jams that you can just vibe to. You could be 22 years old and this could be your favorite song, Just Begun. It don't matter. It's whatever you can vibe to, which is one of the important.
Absolutely, and we have this kind of like, I think b-boys as well, because it's such a creative art form. You have a very open-minded community overall when it comes to music and that kind of stuff, and people are very knowledgeable. And and nowadays everybody's got Shazam, so they can find music more easy than ever. And there's so much resources online and their websites that give away all the b-boy tracks. When I grew up DJing, it was different. Like I couldn't ask another DJ what they were playing.
No.
When it came to b-boy stuff, if you try to go over there and try to peek at what they're playing, you get a hand on the face, or they'd cover their labels or scratch off the labels, because that was like their exclusive joint.
Same thing. But the way I learned how to DJ, I would go to clubs and I would just check out the DJ. You know what I'm saying? And then I would go home and I would emulate what I saw. And just it was just, there was no YouTube and none of that. You just had to kind of look, learn, go home, practice, and get it on. I mean, that was just.
Well, you were one of the first guys that actually started, DJ schools and things like that. So, but yeah, we all had to learn from watching other DJs, and if we were lucky, somebody would teach us a move or two. But you couldn't go somewhere and have somebody, teach you. If you were lucky, if you had a friend that DJ'd, or if you, helped carry crates for them, then they might give you little bits and pieces. But you couldn't get a whole curriculum like online or something like you could today.
I just felt it was important, you know what I mean? Because when I was growing up, like I said, I would have to go watch, emulate, and then go back home. I said, there needs to be a better educational process to learn how to become a DJ. And that's when I started the DJ school with my partner, Corey Feldman. And let me tell you, man, a lot of people came, they joined, they learned, they went on to be successful DJs. So it was definitely gratifying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got video mixing and all other aspects of DJ. There's so many roads you can take when you're a DJ. You can join a cruise ship and be a cruise ship DJ and travel all around the world. I did that for a little while, and that was a whole lot of fun. You could work in a football game and do music for that. I mean, there's just so many different avenues that you could take as a DJ or a programmer, and then radio is a whole nother level where you could be a radio mix show DJ on the radio, and you could evolve into being a music director, a program director, and have a whole career just doing that.
Yeah, I agree. And when I was DJing, I think I started out, with hip hop and breaks, like electro breaks, and got into the breaking scene. And for a while, I did corporate gigs every now and then, and some weddings and stuff like that. But I really didn't enjoy that as much. And I always had other jobs, so I was very lucky. I didn't have to pursue it full time professionally. So I was able to be selective with gigs for a lot of times. And my favorite thing was always doing the b-boy jams, because I could play whatever I want, whenever I want, and as long as there was a beat to it, people would be breaking. And once again, during a battle, it'd be different than just a jam session or ciphers. But it was more fun. It was a lot of fun. Where I think when you go outside of the community, like if you're trying to DJ for teenagers today, forget about it. It's just they only want to hear what's on the radio. And there's some good stuff coming out, but I'm not a big fan of a lot of it. And that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons I didn't continue.
Yeah.
Like I said, professionally DJing and doing clubs and stuff like that. I just, if I wasn't feeling the music, I'm like, no, it's not for me. I'm not going to do this. It's not.
You evolve, or you kind of get into your own niche, and you rather rock, for people more your age set, when there's nothing wrong with that. And that's pretty
Right.
what happens to when you get a little older, and you leave it for the younger DJs to go ahead and,
Yeah.
and Spotify stuff and the jams that these kids want to hear. But speaking of jams, we've got so many competitions coming up. The ProAm Dance and DJ Expo, definitely top of mind, June 10th through the 12th over at the Miami Airport Convention Center. They can go ahead and get tickets right now at proamexpo.com. It is going to be a good time. We're going to have the block party on Sunday. And that in itself is going to be a good time because we've got artists performing live. We've got, I believe, the kids battle happening that day. And this time, last year we were in 1,000 capacity area. This time we're going to be in a 5,000 capacity. So there's a lot we can do with that space. And trust me, we're going to use up every square. It's going to be a good
Yeah,
time.
that convention center is huge. And once again, this is our 25th anniversary. And the Pro-Am, for anybody who isn't aware, is one of the most influential b-boying events in the world. And it's one of the first events that actually brought b-boying into the professional sporting level. It was the first event that started separating different categories for the different dances. Back at the time, most of the events were like, it was either a one-on-one battle or a crew battle, and then popping and every other style, it was all kind of like part of the crew or whatever. And then Pro-Am came along and we started separating. Okay, there's going to be a B-boy battle, a B-girl battle, a power move battle, a Bonnie and Clyde battle, separate pop-in, separate lock-in, separate up-rockin'. Nobody was doing that kind of stuff at the time. So it kind of helped revolutionize. It was the first big event to start doing annual kit battles. And that was 10, 11, 12 years ago, maybe something like that, when we brought in doing the youth battles. And at the time, the sentiment we got from the rest of the community, from a lot of the community, not everybody, and a lot of the professionals and a lot of people running some of the other big stuff now, was like, oh, kids are boring. Nobody wants to see that, but that's our future. Nobody's going to want to see us breaking when we're 50 or 60. We can barely move. It's like the kids are the future. And if you look at the kids these days, I mean, some of these 10-year-olds are better than most of the adults will ever be.
Yeah. Agreed. Definitely, the youth is something that you always want to keep your eye on. You always want to mentor. That's real important. So I'm definitely looking forward to having the best Pro-Am ever celebrating 20. You know how much footage, has been recorded since the commencement of Pro-Am, and all of that is archived. One day we're gonna do a documentary, and it's people are really gonna see this historical, decades and decades of breaking in one lump sum, and it's gonna be an amazing documentary that I'm looking forward to help putting
I
together.
do. I do know because I personally recorded a lot of it and I edited some of the early videos and things like that. And you're right, it's amazing. And one of the other cool things with Pro-Am is you get so many pioneers at the Pro-Am. It's one of the most, I think, pioneer-rich events in the country. People just show up and you have all these legends that were in the old films like Beat Street and Breakin' and all these other kind of films and all these legendary crews. And most of the guys are very humble. They're very friendly. They love talking. They love meeting the younger folks and mentoring people. And they're just happy to see this thing that they started still going.
Yeah. Shouts out to iHeartMedia, our radio partner and media partner for the Pro-Am 25th anniversary. We're also going to do something real special at the Pro-Am. We can't really talk about it right now, but let's just put it this way. It's going to be a life-changing moment that everybody's going to want to be a part of. So make sure to get your tickets to the Pro-Am Dance and DJ Expo, celebrating the 25th anniversary at proamexpo.com, and log on to our USABreakin.org site and become a member if you're not a member yet. What's up with that, man?
It's free to join. It is free to join. So please support the movement. We need people. We need organized. So you'll be able to get our newsletters with medical stuff, with different things, different pioneers from within the community, some of the top judges, some of the top hosts. There's going to be different content all the time. So USABreakin.org. It is completely free to join. Support the movement. Get involved. We have over 12 events that we have, I think, for the qualifiers this year, or 12 events or so on our tour, including the finals. And there's more cities and more promoters logging on. And if you're a promoter doing an event in your city, please reach out to us either on Facebook or here on Instagram or via the website, because we're looking for other good people to network with and good people to connect with.
Absolutely.
And this is what it's
All
all
day.
about. The future is just making it happen.
Yeah, that's right. We're open to networking with everyone. And if you want to see the rest of the dates for the USA Breakin competitions, just click on the IGs. Just scroll down. You'll see it. We're going to be in different cities, Honolulu. We're going to be in LA. Shouts out to Grems and K Swift out there. We doing it all, man. Hey, Jonathan, man, I want to thank you for taking a minute to jump on this IG live and bless us with your knowledge. I know you got to put on your lab coat in the morning, so I'm gonna let you and do your thing, spend some time with your family, and you can dream about the chicharro that I'm gonna be bringing for you pretty soon now.
I'm waiting for Mama Citon.
All right, man. Enjoy your rest of your night, brother. I love you, man.
Peace, y'all. Love you too.
All
Peace,
right.
everybody.